Ukraine in crisis, new escalations, fading sanctions, and Trump's controversial peace plan. Welcome back to LCC News. Today, we dive deep into the escalating Ukraine conflict, the real impact of sanctions on Russia, NATO's military stance, and former President Trump's controversial peace proposal. Let's begin. On April 24, 2025, Kyiv witnessed the largest missile and drone assault since the summer of 2024. At least 12 civilians lost their lives, and around 90 more were injured in a wave of terror that once again shattered any hopes for immediate peace. Meanwhile, Kharkiv, Ukraine's second-largest city, has been under relentless air raids. Residents describe sleepless nights, constant fear, and a cityscape now filled with ruins and sorrow. The humanitarian toll continues to grow. Since Russia's full-scale invasion began in 2022, more than 40,000 civilians have been killed. The suffering on the ground is immense. Hospitals are overwhelmed. Electricity grids are targeted, and millions are displaced. The world watches, but the pattern of destruction seems heartbreakingly familiar. For over a decade, the United States and its allies have imposed wave after wave of sanctions on Russia. However, the latest studies reveal a more complex picture. While sanctions have significantly reduced Russia's trade with sanctioning countries, they have not crippled the Russian economy as intended. Russia, under Vladimir Putin's leadership, has adapted remarkably. The Kremlin focused its economy on wartime production, prioritized self-sufficiency, and dramatically decreased its reliance on Western technology. In fact, Russia's economy has outperformed many analysts' expectations. Exports to China and India have surged, particularly in oil and gas. These new partnerships have partially shielded Russia from Western economic pressure. This raises an uncomfortable question. Can sanctions alone ever bring Russia to the negotiating table? Or is the West stuck in an endless loop of punitive measures that only reinforce Putin's defiance? From a military standpoint, the war has also reshaped Russia's forces. Russia has expanded its ground troops rapidly, but quantity has not equaled quality. Many of these new recruits are poorly trained and inadequately equipped. By contrast, NATO's strength remains formidable. With more than 3 million active personnel and over 22,000 military aircraft, NATO maintains a clear technological and numerical advantage. However, some experts warn that NATO's conventional superiority might not translate to an easy victory if a wider conflict erupts. Russia's nuclear arsenal, its ability to conduct hybrid warfare, and its strategic depth still pose significant threats. As of today, NATO is reinforcing its eastern flank, but without directly engaging in Ukraine. The alliance remains cautious, wary of triggering a full-scale war with Moscow. Adding another layer of complexity is Donald Trump's latest intervention. The former president, and now leading contender for 2026, has outlined a controversial peace plan. According to recent leaks, Trump proposes that Ukraine formally abandon its bid to join NATO, recognize Russia's control over Crimea and the territories currently occupied by Russian forces. Supporters of Trump's plan argue that this is a pragmatic step, the only realistic way to halt the bloodshed and avoid dragging the United States deeper into another endless war. They point out that continued military aid to Ukraine has cost American taxpayers hundreds of billions of dollars, while stretching U.S. military supplies dangerously thin. Critics, however, say that Trump's proposal amounts to rewarding aggression. They argue it would embolden Russia, destabilize Europe, and undermine international law. They insist that Ukraine's sovereignty must not be up for negotiation. Even among Trump's usual allies, the reaction has been mixed. Some senior Republicans have called for tougher sanctions instead of territorial concessions. Others are cautiously backing a negotiated settlement under specific conditions. As of late April 2025, the conflict shows no sign of ending. Russia continues to strike civilian infrastructure. Ukraine fights valiantly, but faces mounting losses. The West grapples with the dilemma: continue supporting Ukraine indefinitely or push for an imperfect peace. Meanwhile, the broader geopolitical balance is shifting. China and India's growing ties with Russia highlight a world no longer dominated by a single power bloc. Sanctions are losing their edge. Military superiority is no longer an absolute guarantee. Trump's peace proposal forces America and its allies to confront uncomfortable truths. Is the ideal of a free Ukraine worth an open-ended commitment? Or is it time to make painful compromises to secure a broader peace? No easy answers exist. Only hard choices remain. At LCC News, we will continue to track every development, every decision, every battle, every negotiation, to bring you the clearest, most comprehensive updates. Thank you for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, please like, subscribe, and share to help us reach more people who care about global events. Until next time, stay informed, stay vigilant. LCC News, where the world connects.